Hey, what's up, my beautiful people? It's your boy Devos, Motivational, back for another day trade inspired recap. And today, I know the video is a little late, but um, honestly, because I didn't have a trade yesterday. I did have a trade earlier, and so I didn't have a trade recap in the morning, and then so now I just got off work, and so I wanted to show y'all what I'm looking at for the looking at in the markets going into tomorrow. I want to show y'all why we had this huge sell off and why I didn't get a trade today. And yeah, why I didn't get a trade today and why we did get this huge sell off. And then one of the models that we actually talked about in one of my live streams. I want to show y'all that. Excuse me. Let me come over here. Show y'all which live stream I'm talking about. So if y'all are just getting to my channel, please check out the live streams. These are where I was doing most of my videos. I was just doing them live, but now I'm actually transferring them and making them actual videos. But a lot of them you probably missed because they were live streams. So these two were some very important ones because this is the model that you're gonna see today. Is these accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. Okay. So let me go back into the charts. So what did I want coming into the day? What I wanted to come in today was really I just seen that we were in under this area of resistance and between this area of support. I wanted to see some kind of fake out before a drop and a retest or some type of drop as the fake out and then a change of character and an upwards move. Nothing too crazy because we were between this 452 all the way down to 442, right? So that's a big area of where we can get money at, right? That's a $10 area of range where we can get money, right? So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for some type of fake out before actually getting the move. And what did we get actually? We did get the fake out, but we got a runner up all morning. We got a runner up to start the morning, drop down, just had a heavy sell off, 451 all the way to 447, not giving us the pullback we wanted through any of this, right? We had this. That would have been excuse me. That would have been a little pullback. I guess that would have been a change of character before getting in right there. But so I've been getting into moves like that lately. I've been getting into moves like prematurely, trying to get in on them on my first moves, right? And so today I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to risk losing the trade. I want to get in when it's trending. I want to see market moving down and trending, and give me my pullback. I don't want to try to get in at the first change of character pullback right here, which this is perfect. This is what I would have got in the whole week. This is what I've been doing the whole week because we had our pullback, runner up, break a structure, change of character, one candle, two candles, three candles closing above. Well, this is the wick, but it wicked because it touched what? This fair value gap, right? Before dropping down. But I was like, no, I want to see it actually trending. So when it did that and it dropped all the way down, when it started dropping right here, I was like, okay. And then this retracement and it started dropping some more, I wasn't worried about it. I was like, okay, just give me another pullback. Give me some type of pullback, you know what I'm saying, to this area, sweeping this retracement, right? I wanted to sweep this retracement because we know price likes to give a retracement, like those two candles, and a drop, and then he wants to come give an actual pullback and sweep that retracement out for the people that actually got in at the retracement. You get what I'm saying? So price likes to do this a lot, which we know because we've seen me get swept out like that, right? So this was actually a good one. It came in my fair value gap. I didn't get in. Why? Because I wanted to see the market actually start trending. Because I've been trying to get ahead of the market and get in at these as soon as I get my change of character pullback, which we had right here, change of character pullback. But then the market would come up against me and start ranging, and basically just leaving me stuck in a range. That's what it's been doing to me pretty much the whole week, right? And even on, what was it, Monday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. So even on Monday, how I made what $40. Monday on I made $40, but it took forever just for it to come to that level it literally took forever for that trade, and then it was still just choppy, and then whenever it hit my level, it actually reversed and just kept ranging, right? And then yesterday, when I got in at my change of character, which we want to see it on the big time frame, right? We want to see the big time frame change of character, right? And then but we seen it was just ranging yesterday, right? So I didn't want to get ahead of myself. I wanted to actually see the market trending down like it did, right? It took out this and started trending, right? So I was like, okay, this is a retracement. I was like, okay, come sweep out that retracement, give an actual pullback to this area, somewhere in this area, right? Oh man, didn't do that. It came down, and what it do? It started to give that uptrend. I was like, okay, it could sweep out this. And come tap this order block, right? Because that's an order block. So it could come sweep this retracement. It could come up and actually sweep this fair value gap area and tap this order block and give a reaction, right? So that's what I was waiting on after this move, right? And what did it do? It came and tapped this order block, but I didn't just hop in. I didn't just hop in for an aggressive entry. Because what I tell you, I wanted to see the market trend and give me clear reactions. I was not hopping in, no aggressiveness. See, on this one, it would have paid off. But what about the other times it's not paying off, right? So I want to have extra confirmation, right? I want to see the market trend, give a pullback, break structure, give me another pullback, and I'm in because I know the market's trending. What did it do? Right here, it came back into my order block. I got a wick. Not too much of a strong wick, so I was already iffy on it before we started to drop, but there wasn't much volume, right? Not much volume whatsoever. We see this volume not picking up, so okay. And that's what I'm telling you guys when I'm going over this with you, and even whenever I go over the morning recaps. You remember how every day when I'm telling you, okay, this is what I should have been looking for. Okay, this is why I was wrong. This is what you gotta do to become a better trader, because I've went over these things like, okay, I wanted my big time frame change of character. What did I do? I made sure to look. Okay, I got my big time frame change of character. Okay, it took out my 448. Okay, but now where's my actual pullback? Okay, when it started to get this actual pullback, it didn't break structure again, so it's not trending. Okay, when it came to my order block up here, it came down, but what did I want to see it do? I wanted to see it trend. I wanted to see it come down and break that. Why? Why did I want that? There's a specific reason. I want to see the market actually start to trend. And because I know if it starts trending, if it breaks structure down here and it wants to start trending, I know I have a support all the way down at this 442. So if it breaks this last lower low, I know it wants to trend down to this 442, right? So that's why whenever I go over these things, it's to show you guys, and also it helps me. And that's what you got to do to become a better trader, okay? You got to keep going over these things and trying to analyze where you did wrong and why you did wrong, and learn from those things so you can grow from them, so ultimately you can become a profitable trader, okay? And so what did it do? It hit this order block. It gave a little reaction, right? But all it did was create a range. So that's where I would have got caught in at. Like, okay, it swept this, and this is where I would have got caught in, even probably yesterday. I would have gotten at this aggressive once I seen these candles start to let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys. Once I got in at this, once I got this wick and I started to see these candles drop, and maybe I got this and then started seeing this strong seller candle, I probably would have got in, right? I probably would have got in somewhere right around here because I got a strong seller, right? But no, I didn't get in this time. Why? Because I wanted to see it actually start to trend. I didn't see my volume pick up, right? Because this was supposed to be the pullback. So the pullback is supposed to be smaller volume, right? And then the reaction off of your order block is where the large orders are at, right? So if that's where the large orders are at, that's where the large volume is supposed to be. I didn't have large volume. So you see that's where you go over these trades, and it's like, okay, I messed up last time by not getting my volume picked up. This time, I need to make sure to look at my volume. I didn't get my volume. So I was like, okay, I don't want it. If volume does start to pick up, I want to see it. Like I said, I want to see it break this last lower low to show me that it wants to trend, okay? And And I won't get the full move if it breaks the structure right and then gives me another pullback. Yeah, I won't get it from the 450 all the way down, but I'm also in a safer. I'm also getting in safer, and I'm still gonna get some profit. You know what I'm saying? If I would have gotten in at 445, right? Say if the pullback was right around here, 445, 445 to 442, $3 profit. That's still some good profit, okay? So I don't want y'all to get mixed up with this because I told you I made $40, $60. I promise you these options go up more than that. I promise you there's more money in this, okay? And y'all are gonna see it, all right? These moves are gonna come, okay? Just you gotta stay with me. These things are gonna come, okay? So what did it do? It did the model that I showed you. Oh man, it did the model that I'm showing you right here in these two streams, right? I was showing you because I got caught up in this model. I already knew the model, but I got caught up in it, right? Oh man, excuse me. And so what did it do? It did that exact model right here. Oh man, wrong one. Wrong tool. So from here, started ranging. Well, what is a range? Equal highs, equal lows. Ranging, equal highs, equal lows. Equal highs, equal lows. What did it give us? Manipulation, distribution. That is so golden, okay? And keep in mind, I did see it. I seen it as it was playing out, right? So when we got this big bump up, I immediately started checking my phone because I was like, man, that's 450 to 452, but it jumped up pretty fast, right, with high volume. So I checked my phone, make sure there was no news, because like, okay, if Trump did something, you know, the pause the tariffs or whatever, okay, this thing's about to fly. I got to make sure to be prepared for that. But no news. So I'm like, okay, that just looking like manipulation, right? Sure enough, what was it? It was the model. Accumulation, manipulated, and where did it manipulate to? As you can see, I have that red line right there. Where did it manipulate to? And this is why these support and resistance areas are so important. Why is this a resistance? Because we see an area of resistance. We see the sellers keep knocking it down. And what was it before? It was a resistance. And then what did they do? It turned to support. Whatever is resistance turns to support. If it gets knocked back through, that support will turn to resistance, right? So it was resistance, made it support, then that support couldn't hold no more. So it made it resistance again, okay? So that's why you got to mark out these areas so you know, okay? And actually, no, it was the range, excuse me. I just marked out this one, this 442 level for tomorrow. I'll mark it back out for tomorrow. There's a reason why I had that one marked there, okay? So it was actually the range from 452 to 440, okay? So that's even bigger move, right? And I will bring that one up so you know I'm not capping about my line. I will bring that up. That is for tomorrow. So I'm going to get further into that, okay? Stay with me. Stay with me, my beautiful people. And if you're with me on the journey, I love every single one of y'all. Remember, this is a journey. We're going to get to it. Every day we're getting 1% better. And these big wins are going to come, okay? You got to stick with me. And I promise you, we're all going to eat on this journey, okay? And if I didn't make money today, if I lost money, I'm still rooting for you guys. I'm still hoping you guys are making money. You know what I'm saying? If I'm having a bad trading day, I hope you're having a good trading day. You know what I'm saying? If I'm having a good trading day, I hope you're having an even better trading day. You know what I'm saying? Because we can all eat. There's enough money in these markets for all of us. You know what I'm saying? If I show you something and you execute on the trade, that doesn't take anything from what I can trade and make. You see what I'm saying? There's no competition in the markets. We can all eat in these things, okay? The markets is an ocean of money, okay? Your little swimming pool or my little teaspoon of water doesn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? When I take a teaspoon of water out of that ocean, the ocean doesn't get no smaller. If you fill up a swimming pool out of that ocean, meaning if you get a big bag out of a trade, it doesn't take nothing from that ocean. That ocean is still huge. You get what I'm saying? That's something I learned from. I mean, obviously, you don't really have to learn it, but that's something I actually got from this book. Ross Cameron. I'm pretty sure you know Ross Cameron if you watch me. Ross Cameron is one of the best traders in the world, and he is awesome. And this book is actually very awesome. And I'm not sponsored by it, I'm not sponsored by him, but this book is very awesome, okay? And so he put me on that that book put me on that ocean of money thing. Okay, but it is very true. Okay, and so what did it do? It gave them accumulation, manipulation, distribution, key, and I seen it right. But I wanted a pullback. I need my pullback, right? I need a pullback, and uh, it sucks when you're literally watching these whole moves play out, but it's just like, man, I just need a move. I need a pullback. I need something, and you just see it just keep taking off. But that's where you just gotta wait for what you feel comfortable in your strategy, right? And keep refining your strategy, right? Because I know there's plenty of people that made money on it. I know there's plenty of people who lost money on it. And honestly, it's not always bad to not have a trade. It's actually not bad at all to not have a trade. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, when you're in a trade, every trade is a risk, right? So if I'm on the sidelines, I'm here learning. I'm learning what this market is doing. I'm still learning, but guess what? I'm protecting my capital, right? And so that's never a bad thing, right? Obviously, we want to be in the market. We want to make money. You know what I'm saying? We want to make money, right? But the second best thing is to be on the sidelines, right? The first thing, obviously, is to make money. You always want to make money. But the second best thing to be doing is to sit on the sidelines and be able to see what's happening and learn, right? I'd rather sit on the sidelines if I don't see my strategy or don't feel comfortable in a setup than force a trade and then lose. You know what I'm saying? And even if you force a trade and you actually end up making profit, that's not gonna last you. Okay, you want to do things. You want to build habits that are gonna be able to sustain you and last you through time. Okay, and so we had this break back down. We actually did have a pullback, but I wanted to see it break this whole range because it's like if we had a pullback right here, it could be, even though I did feel like this was a manipulation. I did feel like it was manipulation, okay? I'm not saying that just because it played out. I did feel like this was manipulation. I checked my phone. It wasn't a news story. So I did feel like this was manipulation because it was key. It came to this order block. That order block created a little range. And then what did it do? It just stomped out everybody. Manipulated everybody. Stopped them all out. And what do these sellers turn into? When you sell a contract, you got to turn into a buyer. So ultimately, that's also why price keeps pumping up, right? Because all these sellers turn into buyers, okay? On top of the already manipulated buy, right? And so then when it gets knocked down, you still have these fair value gaps, right? Even though you feel like it's manipulation, these are still fair value gaps. So that's why it's like, I want to see it break the whole range down and then give me a pullback, right? Just because, again, I just want extra confirmation, right? I feel like I've been losing. Just straight up with you. I've been losing, and so I want confirmation after confirmation after confirmation, okay? Before I'm in the trade. And what did it do? It was just selling off just slowly. It was just bleeding slowly. You see that, right? You see there's no volume, right? You see how there's no volume in that. All down here, it was just bleeding slowly. After this pullback right here, it was just bleeding slowly. So that's why it's also not even like confident for me to, because it's just bleeding slowly. There's no volume, it's just literally stairs, just stairs. Granny is getting just just falling down the stairs, right? You see no volume, just falling. It's just stair stepping down, right? Literally slow, stair stepping slow. All right, and what did we do? We came down to this area, gave like a little range, and now what caused this? Oh my goodness, actually I didn't even see how far it actually dropped. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness, that is insane. So I did see this, and this happened at 12 o'clock. It was literally 12:30 when all this was happening. So that is so late in the day. But this is where it's foolish of me, and this is where I need to practice what I preach, right? Because look at this. This is where I need to practice what I preach. Why? I didn't look at my trading calendar, okay? I didn't look at it. And what is today? Fed Chair Powell speech at 12:30 p.m. Well, 11:30 for us, but 12:30 p.m. And that is why we pretty much had this whole chop, and that's where I'm gonna practice what I preach. I'm gonna make sure to look at that every single day, right? Because I did not know the Fed was talking. You already know if the Fed is talking, that moves markets. When we get the PPI or CPI or GDP, moves markets. If Trump is talking, that moves markets. So those are very important things. And if I knew that, I could have profited huge, right? Because I was looking at the options as I got this drop and this break right here. I seen this. I was like, and it kept dropping. I was like, oh my god, something's going on. So it kept dropping, and this is where I was thinking about getting in right here. I had my Robinhood pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it doesn't matter because I didn't get in, but I did want to get in, but I was like, I want an actual pullback, right? Because this is a little retracement. Like I want an actual pullback into here. This is where I'm telling you, I was just being extra safe, I seen a huge sell off. I didn't know why though. Maybe if I knew why, I would have actually been able to just execute that trade. But I didn't even know why. I didn't know why. I didn't know the Fed chairs. I didn't know the Fed was talking. Jesus Christ. I didn't know the Fed was talking. It was really late in today. It was like what is that? 12:46. On my way to work. Really late. I mean, obviously we could trade from my phone, so I mean that's not really a big deal. But I'm saying so late in the day. Usually, you don't have moves like this late in the day. But lately we have been, and that's what I've been noticing. Lately we've been having these moves at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, like late in the day, like weird. Because normal markets, your most volatility in the market is going to be the New York session from 9:30, 10:30, 11 o'clock, even 11:30. You know what I'm saying? From 8:30 to 11:30, like. But lately it's been 12, 1 o'clock. Today was a reasonable one because we had the Fed talking. But overall in the market, we know, like I've been coming on and saying, like, man, it was so late in the day, and the freaking it dropped. You know what I'm saying? And that's just been happening lately. Late in the day. Look, what is this? This is 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Well, 11:48. That's still late. 11:48 started dropping to 12:03. Gave a pullback 12:07. Our lowest right here was 120. You see what I'm saying? And we can even keep going back. What is this? Actually, that's kind of early in the morning, right? Yeah, this was kind of early. Right about 9. Is that 9? About 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Yeah, this was about 9, 10 o'clock. Okay, but a lot of times recently it's been happening. Like recently it's been happening late, right? So let's just get back into it. So I didn't know he was talking. Maybe if he did, I could have executed the trade, but I didn't know, right? And that's where I gotta practice what I preach. I'm gonna learn from it. Make sure to check my economic calendar every day, right? Because those are very important things, and I've missed out on this whole move, right? And so I wanted an actual pullback into here. I seen this drop. I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, this thing is tanking, and I know we still have this 440 level. I was like, okay, yeah, this thing is tanking. Give me a pullback into here, and I'm in. It didn't give me. It took off again. I was like, okay. Whenever it took off and dropped again, started to give this. I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna come back, sweep this, and give me my pullback. Dropped again, and when it dropped again, this was late. This was literally 1 o'clock, and it just started ranging. I thought it was done. And at this point, I mean, I can't even look at it no more. It's 1 o'clock, 1:20, 1:30. Yeah, I can't even look at the market no more. Right? I'm still pulling up to see what's going on, but I'm not in the right habitat to trade. I'm at work working. Right? I'm not at the right habitat to trade at 1 o'clock. And usually, the most successful traders don't trade in the 1 o'clock p.m. Right? That's rare to see them trade at that time. Right? But we did have this 127. At 127 to about 2 o'clock. That's what, 2:30. Lowest drop to 437. Actually breaking through this area of support. Excuse me. Why was that an area of support? because this is where we had a bounce at. And then if we go into my daily, that's actually a support for my daily. This is exactly why I had the area of support. Because as you see, we had the strong wick right here that bought it up, and then we had a bounce right here. And it said we had a bounce right here, right? So I had that wick right there. All right. And this is where tomorrow. And I want to show you real quick why I had that other one for that 442. No, I believe it was in my 15 minutes. Sorry about that. That's why I had that 441 there. And then honestly now, we can mark out if it wants to break this 440 level again, it could come all the way back down. But let's look at it real quick. Let's mark out these levels together. Man, why did I have that 442 level? I just marked it out. Okay. Right here. Yeah, that's why I had it. Okay. This is why I had it. Because this is where we had this last bounce and then breakthrough. And then we came up and we're breaking through it again. So if it... Okay, yeah. That's exactly why. So I had that there because of this. So tomorrow, if we see it, I honestly think we can see... Okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself, okay? Sorry about that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to talk about what I think the market is going to do tomorrow after I'm done with this full trade breakdown, right? Or full market thing. So we had this huge drop. Why did we have that huge drop? Okay, so basically the Fed was talking. The markets did not like what the Fed was saying, right? The markets want rate cuts, and the Fed did not come out and say rate cuts. As a matter of fact, he actually said that there was a chance of higher unemployment, and there's still increasing inflation, right? And that is not good. Why is that not good? That is called stagflation, okay? That is called stagflation. Whenever you have high inflation, high unemployment, so that means people are losing jobs, but inflation is still up, and then you have slow economic growth, which we are basically in. So right now we have high economic growth. Right now we have high inflation. Right now we have negative GDP, right? Because the first quarter in the year we had negative GDP. So those 3 strikes, you're out, right? But our third one, we have very strong jobs, right? We do have very strong jobs. We're at like 4% unemployment rate, which is like really good, right? But the Fed said he sees unemployment actually spiking. And so that is not good, right? That is not good, because if we still have inflation, which meaning prices are still elevated, people are still spending, on top of unemployment, on top of bad economic growth, that leads nothing to a recession. Those 3 things together, stagflation, leads to a recession, right? And so lately we've been having a lot of analyst experts like JP Morgan, the CEO of Chase Bank, 25% to 60% recession, up from 40%, right? And that was just recently. He said that he upped that. And then Goldman Sachs now sees a 35% chance of recession within 12 months due to President Donald Trump's escalated trade war. JP Morgan has raised its recession odds to 60%. And I believe Goldman Sachs had about a 60% at first too. And then as we can see, we have all of these, which I know a bunch of like analysts are like saying high chances of recession. We can even see right here, 46 economics survey by Wolters Kluwer Blue Chip Economic Indicators estimate a 47% chance of recession, up from 25% in February. So in February we're only 25%. Now we're basically up to 50%. The odds of the U.S. entering recession of March 2026 has risen to 36%. Bond expert Jeffrey Gunlock at Double Line Capital told CNBC a few days ago that he sees the chances of recession at 50 to 60%. And so, again, JP Morgan raised it from 40% to 60%. So, you see what I'm saying? So, it's just like not a lot of good news happening on top of So what China's saying. China's saying they do want to work out a deal with the U.S., which is good, but he's saying that he needs the U.S. Donald Trump to treat him or treat China with more respect. And so we're still in the trade war, but ultimately we're gonna come out of this, okay? And so please, guys, if you were, well, this is not financial advice, but if you are any type of investor, which I am, these are good times to buy. Yes, if we get into a recession, we will fall. We will fall even more, right? If we get into a recession, we will fall even lower. But right now, we were down 25%. Right now, we're still down almost 20%. If we get into a recession, we could fall down to these 30%, right? And probably even farther to 40%. But these are excellent buying opportunities, right? Because as we can see, anytime we get these dips, excuse me, anytime we get these dips, with that 15%, the market always goes higher, right? The market always goes higher. It's never going to fail you. Whenever we had this bear market in 2022, 37% down from all-time highs, what did we do? We still rallied, right? We still rallied, right? In 2020, COVID, down 30%. And look where we're at now. So you see what I'm saying, my good people? And if from 2020, all-time highs, $235, all the way to the all-time highs of $540. So you're up 100% on your money. Do you get where I'm getting at? These huge downturns and huge sell-offs are very good buying opportunities, okay? You don't want to buy when you're up here because you're not making much profit. You don't want to buy up here because you're not making much profit, right? You want to buy down here so you can get these profits. You see what I'm saying? You want to buy in these downturns so you can get these profits. You want to buy in these downturns so you can get these profits, right? Because remember, we got to think, in 5 years, 10 years, do you see America just falling off? Do you see us literally just falling off all the way to, you know what I'm saying? Do you see the market erasing? No. In 5 to 10 years, we are going to be way higher than we are now, okay? And all you got to do is look out, zoom out. And remember, I learned these things from other very successful people, okay? And so if you don't believe me, go watch your favorite investor or go watch other investors if you don't believe what I'm saying, okay? Look, in that 2008 Great Recession, $52 all the way down to $25. So they lost 50%. And what did it do? It rallied all the way up. It came back even from the Great Recession. From the dot-com crash, we were all the way down here. And what did? We still rallied up. You know what I'm saying? From the dot-com crash, when people probably thought everything was over, we rallied up. From the Great Recession, when people thought everything was over, we rallied up. From COVID, when people probably thought everything was over during COVID, rallied all the way up. During this bear market in 2022, everybody thought everything was over. What did we do? Rallied up. During this tariff war, what did everybody do? Think it was over. They were going to rally up, okay? So always look at the long term if you're trying to invest, okay? Which we should be doing, right? Because we're day trading, right? But ultimately, we're day trading trying to basically flip our money and get more money. And ultimately, we need to invest that money so we can create wealth, okay? So we can keep building that money, okay? Because day trading is a very good tool to multiply your money, make more money, and make more money. But investing in good stocks and good growth stocks that you know are going to be able to last lifetimes, that is how you're going to actually create generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Day trading is an amazing job, and you can make millions of dollars. But investing what you make from day trading, I'm not saying all of it. Obviously, you want to live your life and stuff like that, right? And so we want to be able to make a lot of money through these day tradings and through our laptops and phones, right? but we also need to take that money and invest it and put it into more assets. You know what I'm saying? Put these things into assets, not to go buy the new Jordans or buy that new video game that came out or go to that new Rod Wave concert. Yes, we love Rod Wave. Yes, we love those things, but we got to think about where do we want our future, okay? What do we want for our future? We got to invest in assets so we can grow, okay? So that's just a little teaching thing, you know what I'm saying? For you guys and for myself, of course, right? Because we're all trying to get wealthy, right? And so that is why we had that huge downturn, though, because the stagflation, that was bad. That is bad news hearing from Jerome Powell, right? Because if he would have came out and said something about, Fed cuts or sounded a little bullish, we would have actually had a rally, right? We would have had a rally. But if he starts talking about he's a little worried, if it starts sounding like he's a little worried, like, okay, stagflation and unemployment's going to spike and we still have inflation and the GDP is going down, the economic growth is slowing, yeah, the market don't like that because that sounds kind of like recession talk, okay? But what can I see tomorrow? So at the end of the day, we actually did try to rally, right? Why did we try to rally? Because let's go back to our daily. And we can see we did bounce off these wicks, right? So you see what I'm saying? So we can come all the way down to this wick right here. So I will mark this level as we are talking. This will be a good wick where we could possibly, remember, I got to get a good number. It got to be a solid number. 48, good number. I like something like, man, ain't no pretty numbers, man. All right, just stick with me, my good people. No, that's too far off. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have a pretty number, but it gotta be on the line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we might have to stick with an ugly number. 432.63. Okay. So that is another area of support if price wants to break through our supports, which we will get to them. But this is a big area of support that we're gonna have if we ultimately break our wick that we had just today, our 437 wick. If we break our 437 wick, we're falling back down to 432. You see what I'm saying? Then after that, you kind of have a little bit more of this candle where we can get a reaction. So you can't. I feel like you can't really have some type of clear support right here. You could kind of try to put it in like the middle of this candle because this is a huge candle, right? With 467, 455, $50 candle, right? So we could we could probably get a bounce somewhere like down here, like 50% down here. You know what I'm saying? At this 423 area. And then probably a little lower. But then ultimately, if we keep dropping, and this 415 will be a huge area of support. We break that, we are falling. So you see how I'm just marking out these supports levels, right? We break that 415, which we're not going to break it tomorrow, but I'm just showing you overall if we start to get these heavy sell-offs and heavy sell-offs, these are areas of support. So that wick, right? So this one, because this is where that strong end of that candle is. This is where that wick is, and this is where our lowest low that we've made so far is at this 402.65. So see what I'm saying? I'm just showing you how I mark out these levels, right? And so let's go back to our 15 just to actually see. So, okay. So yeah, as we see, we broke through this level. We didn't come all the way down. Oh yeah, we broke through our 440, which was actually like a big support. And then we got a reaction off of this gap right here, right? And so what I can see tomorrow, if I feel like we're gonna get a little pump because we did get such a dump, but we could get a little pump, but that pump can potentially not last forever, okay? That pump could potentially not last forever. Depending how the market, because it's a Friday. Before I was saying that usually you get a pump on Fridays, but lately that's not really been the case. So what can I see tomorrow? To start the day, we could probably just get like a pump up. we could just start getting a little pump up before we get like 50% into here, and then a drop. That would be a good move, right? From 447, I could see that actually happening, right? I could see us getting a little pump up to start the day, trying to like recover a little bit from yesterday, but then ultimately getting knocked out by this little order block or this fair value gap. Okay, so let's keep this in mind. We're in our 15-minute, right? So that's our bigger time frame for our scalps, right? So we could see price, because where are we at right now? Let me check right now. Let me check right now for you guys to see where we at. Overnight markets. Overnight markets in our QQQ, we're already at 447. And so we're already starting to pump up, right? Because where did we end off at? We ended off at 444. And our lowest low of the, like, at 230 was at 437. So obviously it was like, okay, we reacted kind of a little too bearish, you know. So they tried to give a little pump. Not even tried. They gave a pump from 437 to 444 to end the day, which was literally like an hour. And then from 444, excuse me, right now overnight markets is up to 447. Okay, and so we'll see what the pre-markets hold for tomorrow. But if it's already at 447, already at this level right here, we could see a price wants to pump and hit this order block. If it does hit that and sweeps it, it could end up coming, try to test this area of resistance again. Before ultimately, I don't see it lasting. I don't see us getting any type of pump tomorrow. Honestly, I see us probably starting to try to start off pumping, but I could see us trying to hit that resistance and give us right back down, and then we'll have this area of support here, right? And so we could finish off and break through here, or we could be trying to just kind of range down here, right? Or what could I see to start the day? Maybe we start at like a 446, 447 area. We come down, test this area of support before trying to give us a little run up, okay? Before being cautious of this resistance, right? So that's kind of what I could see going in tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are going to make some money, okay? Tomorrow, we are going to be making some money. We're going to trade. We're not going to force a trade. We're going to wait for our strategy, wait for our setups, and we've been very consistent on our disciplines. We've been very consistent on them, right? We've just been losing trades, right? Because of various things. We've got to make sure we look at our big time frames, but we've been disciplined. We've been disciplined with our stop losses, with our risk management. We've been trusting our strategy. We just haven't had really any wins, excuse me. And as we know, Tuesday should not have been that big of a loser. My orders did not get filled, not once. Honestly, I think it was 3 times. I tried to sell it at minus $8. I tried to sell it at minus $40, and then they finally want to sell it at minus 100, right? $136, right? So I really don't feel like I should have took that big of a loss, which I really shouldn't have, but it happened, right? My wallet says minus $136, right? But tomorrow we're gonna make that back. Minus $136. That's nothing, right? This trading, the markets print money. If you're on the right side of the move, it prints money. $136, they will give it to you like that. You just gotta make sure to be on the right move, which tomorrow will be on, okay? And so I want to make sure I covered everything. I kind of feel like I'm forgetting something, but if I'm forgetting something, you know I'm gonna show up with you guys tomorrow anyways. So we're really not forgetting anything, because I will see you guys tomorrow anyways. But let's just talk about why I have this support here. Why do I have this support here? Because this is where we had a little area, a little retracement area, right? Before we broke through it, right? We broke through these areas of support, but this also gave us this little retracement, right? Honestly, I might just remove this one, because I mean, that area of support got broken through. Excuse me. But I have this support here still, because this is where it gave us a little retracement. It broke through, but this is where our little retracement is at, right? So if it breaks through that retracement again, we can see price falling all the way back down, and that's where I mark my new area of support. There we go. That's a pretty number. So I can see it. If it breaks this retracement again, if it wants to break down, I can see price falling all the way back, and we will be cautious of this candle, 439 to 437, right? Of this whole candle area. We'll be cautious. Excuse me. We'll be cautious of this whole candle, okay? Why? Because this is the candle that generated this move. The candle before this move And so we will be watching that along with our support. But tomorrow we're going to capitalize off our trade. Okay, we're going to finish the day off right. And so I hope you guys got that. Stagflation. What is stagflation? Stagflation is when we have slowing economic growth, higher inflation, and higher unemployment. Okay, and so higher means so slowing economic growth, which is lower GDP, negative GDP, which we have, and then higher inflation, and then higher unemployment. So right now we have strong unemployment. We have strong jobs. There's a lot of employment. There's a lot of people employed that have jobs. So we're not all the way there yet. So that is a good thing, right? But the Fed says he does see higher unemployment coming. So we gotta be worried. I mean, we gotta be cautious about that because those recession fears will hit these markets. Okay. So another thing I want to tell you guys about this is what are you guys investing in? Okay. So when you're investing, and I'm learning this as well, when you're looking at your PE ratios, look at your favorite stock. Look at your favorite stock that you like. If you like Apple, look at the lowest look at its highs and then look to see where it's low at, what its low is at right now. Then look like the past 2 weeks, past month, past 3 months, where's the lowest that it's been. Try to get in like the middle of that area. Okay, so for example, Meta. I'm big on Meta. I have Meta, right? I'm invested in Meta. Okay, I see the PE is at $21. At 21.86. The lower the PE, if you know that company is profitable, which Meta is profitable, Meta is built in the US, its fundamentals are all good, right? If you know you have a good stock, for example, Meta is at $500. Its high at February 14th, its high was at $736. So that means I'm buying Meta at $500, which is, let's go to this chart real quick. That means I am buying Meta at a 15% discount. You get what I'm saying? And so those are the things you want to look for. You want to look for that discount. When you go and try to buy a shirt from Zoomies or from the Nike store, or try to buy shoes, you want a discount, right? You want the lowest price. But no, we don't care about our them Nikes, that shirt. We want the discounts on our assets, these things that are going to grow us and make us money, okay? Nvidia's PE right now is at 38, right? So that is still pretty low. And we know Nvidia is going to be higher in the future, right? And so Nvidia's high was right around $150. Right now it's at $104. And so what do? I can go out a month, 3 months, and see the lowest was at 94. Okay, so I can have a buy order at around $100, right? And then if it starts dropping lower, just DCA, dollar cost average into these things, right? So I bought a little bit of Meta today. Why? Because it done tanked. Meta done tanked today. Okay, so let me buy a little bit of Meta, right? And if it comes down into these fours, oh, I'm buying some more. And if we go into a recession, think about it. We make money up and down in these markets. Okay, stay with me, my beautiful people. We make money through the market up or down. We could buy calls or puts, so it really doesn't matter. But why I do not gonna say I do want a recession, but why I don't care, because that means our assets are gonna come down lower. Yeah, we might lose some money in whatever we're investing in, but it's not forever. But ultimately, what are we doing? We're getting these prices cheaper and cheaper. So when these things return to these all-time highs and break, because remember, it's not gonna return just to the all-time high. It's gonna break and make a new high, right? But ultimately, we're gonna be having this asset at such a low price. We're going to be able to get all that percentage gain, okay? So that's what I want you guys to keep in mind, okay? These are very important financial things that we do not think about and we do not learn and we are not taught, okay? And so we got to keep in mind these things, okay? So let me come back to QQQ. So I showed you guys what I'm looking at. And so I wish you guys the best. I know all you guys are getting after it. I know all you guys are going to make some money. Just got to trust it. You got to trust strategy. You got to trust your discipline. And ultimately, do not rush the process, okay? The trading is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Okay. Trust your strategy. Trust your disciplines. Have risk management. You follow those things, and you make sure to study. You will be on the right side of the markets. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just studying. I just keep going over it every day, analyzing my losing trades, analyzing my winning trades, and I know it's gonna pay off because I know the ultimate goal. I know the ultimate vision. That's what you gotta have. You gotta have the ultimate vision. You gotta have a narrow vision on what you see in the future. Okay, not what is just happening right now. What do you see in the future? What do you see long term? Okay, these billionaires and millionaires, they're not worried about these little baby steps, right? Because they see the long term view. That is how they make the billions, right? By thinking long term. These things don't happen overnight, okay? We got to stop thinking about, oh, I put in 2 hours of work, it didn't happen. Or I put in $50 today, it didn't go up to $200 tomorrow. No, keep the long term vision. Good things do not happen overnight. Good things happen over time, okay? Not overnight, over time, okay? Keep building good habits and they will pay off, okay? So I love every single one of you guys, all right? Make sure y'all study, make sure y'all stay disciplined, make sure you have risk management, and make sure, again, you study so you know what you're looking at, okay, guys? So it was a little longer video, but ultimately I hope I had some good information for you guys. Remember, I love every single one of y'all who with me on the journey. And remember, guys, stay persistent, passionate, make sure y'all get paid, all right? Peace.